Well, where are you? Are you in Portland or are you in Memphis?
You know, I never can tell. I'd have to look at Facebook to make sure, because it tells you right there where you are.
So you kind of go back and forth.
Man, I tell you, for several years, Tom, ever since I came to Portland, I've been going back to Memphis, and then I started working the East Coast of the U.S. Am I supposed to be looking at the camera or at you? Do people know this is being filmed?
I'm right behind the camera.
Okay.
So it's impossible to look at me without looking at the camera, and vice versa.
You know, Tom, I hate to talk about how old we were, but it is a blur. I mean, it is a blur. But I'm in Portland here, yes.
Yeah. All right, so you got a gig at the Clinton. So
yeah.
What is this gig about?
It's not exactly a gig.
What is it?
It's a concert. To me, a gig is something that it happens pretty frequently, and you can do yours this week, you know.
Yeah.
And this is a first one of a kind. I tend to get involved in these events, sort of like the Blues Festival and other formats, where I do tend to check things out that haven't been done prior. And I did reach this age. I hate to keep bringing up the age thing, but it might be obvious to some of your viewers. But at this age, it's like, where do we go next? I mean, is it only going to be bars and taverns and bookstores, that sort of a thing? And what can I do in this market that other people don't do? Because if I can't do something that other people aren't doing, I think I'll just ride my bike and drink coffee in Portland, Oregon.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, that's just it. Over the last few years, I've been developing my act I write all my own tunes. I tell people I write my own tunes because nobody else will, and so I just go ahead and do it. And so you wind up talking about where these songs come from. If you're playing in a place where people can listen, as opposed to most bars where there's a machine going on somewhere in the background, a poker machine, or a place where people are supposed to socialize while you're performing, and so you can't really tell them to shut up unless you're playing in Nashville or somewhere where it's a songwriter's room where you're not allowed to talk. And so over the last couple of years, and especially overseas, where they look at American performers differently than they do here, my stories, I started developing these stories that go along with certain of my songs. And I've got social commentary, I got satire, I got funny, I got sad, you know. And it depends on where we're going with the songs of the room, and that's what I'm doing. And as far as the Clinton Street Theater, I've been thinking about where to go as an old man performing music that the market is pretty young. And one of the things is to not only can we play songs that we heard growing up that people might not be familiar with, songs that are really, really enjoyable, but monologists and lecturers, things that we used to hear more of growing up, live presentation, things like Mark Twain Tonight and Swimming to Cambodia, where you've got a monologuist, where he's got outrageous stories, stories that are hard, they're true, and maybe they're not, and they're sort of a little bit of a parable to them. And that's what I do, but I've got songs in between and vice versa.
Is it just you solo, or are you going to have a band?
Well, you know, I do a solo show, but I always have people who want to join me. And so I always have a few people who come sit in for different songs, and it makes my music interesting to me. If you've seen my videos on the internet, like I might play the same song with a harp player at one time or with a fiddle player at one time, and different types of drums. So for this show at the Clinton Street Theater, my drummer will be Michael Beach from Brothers of the Ballads.
Oh yeah.
And so we're developing string band finger picking with the hand percussion, which is really, really interesting. When I was working in Israel,
string band finger picking with percussion.
Yeah, hybrid. You know, hybrid. You could consider hybrid a cliche, but that's what I'm always I like to do. I mean, most blues bands, and I don't think they would disagree. They still follow the Muddy Waters format, which is your bass player, drummer. You know, it's the same setup, and they try and get it down as well as they can, and that's their tribute to Muddy Waters and his heritage. I appreciate that, but as a writer, I'm looking for people reinterpreting what I'm doing. And so when I'm overseas, particularly, I get guys putting stuff down in my music that I don't know where it came from, you know, but just it's local to them. I like that. I like to see what they see in my music. One time I was playing a rooftop concert in Israel. This is not racist, people, I'm telling you right now. We're playing a rooftop concert with some Israeli blues players. They're playing slide guitar. And you would not know that these guys were not in Mississippi. And he's playing a slide guitar, singing Delta, and it's prayer time at the closest mosque, and which is. So instead of stopping, this guy, he just adjusted the slide guitar a little bit. For like 3 minutes, we had this guy playing the slide guitar with the minaret a block away. And it was like, man, I wish I had my video camera going. And so a lot of that, I've seen a lot of that in the last couple of years. And so now I'm letting
it'd be a better world if that could happen every day.
Absolutely. Tom, I wish we could turn the camera around. And exactly, that's exactly, to be able to travel and do this, and to be healthy, and to capture this, and meet people willing to share, where when you get older, even in your 40s, you get into a rut. You know, musicians, they'll play. You guys right here, all of our best friends in town, they're playing the same places they played for 30 years, which is okay. It's a cool thing for them. But if you're writing and you're creating, you need to see things fresh, and it really, really helps when I see an artist.
So, will these be true stories?
They're all
semi-true stories?
They're all true.
Somewhat embellished stories? Somewhat
well, you know,
stories that you've helped along a little bit?
All my stories are true as far as I know. You know, and but that's the other benefit of getting really, really old, is that it doesn't make any difference anymore. You know, I'm sitting with my friends. I say, hey, if I told you this before, I say, it doesn't make any difference. Just go ahead, tell me that.
Right.
It doesn't make any difference.
Because they can't remember either.
But I'll tell you this, Tom. You and me, before the camera started rolling, we did discuss a lot of the people who aren't here anymore, and these artists that we miss so much. And
it's been a bad year.
Well, it's not just a bad year. You know, it's a tough life, and even if you're still here, to be able to still play music, to be able to still get around, and to participate in what's happening is such a blessing. Yeah, every day it's a blessing, and there's more and more every day. Yeah. I didn't say that. I don't know if it's confusing. I don't want to confuse the issue, but this is going to be a webcast. We're going to webcast this live. I didn't want people to think they're going to go to the theater and see a film. But we're webcasting it on concertwindow.com. Do you know that? Excuse me. I don't mean to burp on camera, but
we'll link to it.
Concertwindow.com is the future. You know how we always think this is the future? Hey, this is the future. The computer, and this is the future. iTunes. Well, this thing called concertwindow.com, a lot of people are going to now, like Roy Bookbinder and Paul Stuckey, because you do a live webcast, and they podcast it, and they collect money for you through PayPal.
So what are your songs about these days? What are you writing?
So scratch that, forget all that. It's not really that important. But the writing is...
No, we don't edit, remember?
But, you know, I was ready for that one. But I do social commentary, I do satire, and I do ballads, I do romantic, because I would like to sell a song, get somebody to cover one of my songs, and get money that way. And so I do pitch my songs to different artists, and so I've got all different sizes and shapes, funny, sad, and in concert I have to watch where I'm going, because once you go funny, it's really hard to go, so I do have to control where it's going. So, some are more political. If I do a college, I have songs that are very, very political. I have this one song called Shoot the Angels Down. I am an activist. I'm from the Saul Alinsky School of Music with Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger. And I am an activist. In fact, the Oregonian one time did the history of the Blues Festival, and I told them that they left out where it came from. And they said, why don't you write it up? And I wrote it. It's all about Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie. And they never did run it. But that's where I come from.
Well, are you okay with? I mean, so you got that award on stage, and
so, so what I was going to say was
you did get recognized.
No, I mean, I'm saying I've done. Oh, I was really happy with that. But I'm just saying, Shoot the Angels Down. I was very upset during the Reagan years about Star Wars. So I wrote this song called "Shoot the Angels Down."
Yeah.
It was a parable about arts programs and mental health things, everything that got cut during Reagan. And then I mailed a copy of it to all the congressmen, senators, and news people of this single, "Shoot the Angels Down." It's the first song on my CD. You got my CD.
Yeah.
You don't need another one, but if you did, it's the first one I did. But they bought that in Israel. I mean, they bought a download, and it's big on Israel radio, and for them, "Shoot the Angels Down" is sort of a sarcastic Iron Dome parrot. I'm just saying, when they hear something totally different, "Shoot the Angels Down."
All right. Okay. Well, look.
There you go.
Have a great gig. We will put "Shoot the Angels Down" just underneath this screen on the page.
Oh shit! It's the worst song on my CD.
Okay. What would you rather us put?
Portable Man is the big hit.
Okay. Right into this screen you're looking at right now will be a little player with Portable Man in it.
Really?
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great gig.